When it comes to ego dissolving, no one's prepared for it and no one knows what it's going to be like. Some people experience radical transformations that take place in an instant, where they feel an intense shift in their conscious awareness, while others experience it little by little over some time. But these are some of the signs that will tell you that you're experiencing ego dissolution. But before I explain further, if you find this video helpful to you, please help us by clicking that like button below. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified of subsequent videos. Number 1, you have new perceptions. The ego, to a considerable extent, controls your perception and makes you judge things the way you do. So once you see yourself beginning to see things differently from angles you've never viewed from before, then you know your ego is starting to diminish. With the knowledge of this in mind, it helps you to know that being able to take another person's idea or see things the way another person does requires you to make a decision that you're willing to accept someone's lead on that particular issue. The ability of you being able to understand the perception of another person in any situation makes it believable that you have control over your ego, and this is a sign that you're able to detach yourself from your ego. Number 2, getting close to people. Some people in the world see themselves so high above other people. They don't see themselves as on the same level as others, and all that is due to their egos. If you were such a person and suddenly you started seeing yourself getting closer to people, this is for sure a sign that your ego is dissolving. However, this doesn't come naturally. You really have to work towards achieving it. And I'm telling you, it's not easy. But with time, you can succeed, and it's always worth it. Number 3, strong moral judgments are being replaced by acceptance. People who are still influenced by their ego have a serious issue concerning what they think is right and wrong. They always want to prove a point in whatever they're doing. They always want others to know that they're right, and they'll do anything to make sure that point's proven. This is because the ego's the judge. But as the ego dissolves, you begin to feel less concerned about who's right and who's wrong. You become less concerned about how other people live their lives, whether it's right or wrong. You realize then that everyone's doing the best they can for their survival. Number 4, you begin to have the feelings of oneness. When you begin to experience ego disassociation, you begin to see everyone as the same. The time when you looked at some people with dismay or disapproval is no more. Now all you see is everyone being the same and unique in their different ways. You see that people are the same, that no one is greater or better than the other. You come to terms with the fact that we're all one. The ego has always been the one controlling your emotions when you saw people differently and how some people were better than others. But now, that's no more. Number 5, your way of observation becomes keen. This is another way to know that your ego is truly dissolving. It can also be referred to as being self-aware. This is the ability for you to take cognizance of your mind and what it does. This might sound very simple, but in reality it's not. It can be achieved, though, through meditation, which is the simplest way to do it. There are other ways in which you can do this, but in all, it requires constant practice. When you practice this mindfulness, you see that you can control some negative thought patterns that come into you, especially when you're in a relaxed state. Sometimes, you remember issues that you had with someone and how you would have responded to them. But as you continue to practice your meditation, you see that you begin to gain control over those thoughts and begin to let go of the past things. When you do this, you might not have won the argument, but definitely you're at peace with yourself. Being able to observe your ego makes it difficult for your ego to control your emotions because you can always conquer it. Number 6, you begin to experience some mild out-of-body experience. People feel it's not possible to dissolve the ego to the barest minimum. But truthfully, you can dissolve your ego to the point where you don't feel like you're in your body. You experience some hallucinations that might make you feel so many things and even question some things that happen in your life, and also things that you see around you. When you can dissolve your ego to this point, you can control your emotions perfectly because you find it difficult to get hurt from the things that can happen to you in life. And this makes it possible for you to easily get up and start all over again when the going gets tough. I think that ego dissolution exists on a spectrum, and you're getting to the latter end of it now. It might be that your ego is what allows you to feel your fingers and connects you to this world, and when you've dissolved it enough, you start to feel that you're not in your body anymore. Number 7. The strive to be a somebody falls away. When your ego begins to dissolve, you suddenly realize that you've been spending most of your life trying to prove yourself to the world, trying to make the world believe you, trying to receive validation for an image that's based on nothing, whereas you should have been spending that time trying to be the person you ought to be. The tendency to compare yourself with another person begins to go down. You now begin to enjoy what it feels like to be liberated. You begin to see yourself through the eyes of an ever-changing point of perspective, reacting to every moment as they come. Number 8. You begin to experience replication experiences. When the ego's being dissolved enough, you begin to experience what's called simulation experiences, that is, glimpsing other realities. It's believed that the souls of a man are in some sort of simulation and normally come to reality. The ego is what's required to direct in this particular reality, and this reality is, in fact, a place where some souls come to level up. And that part and parcel of being here is that we have an ego. To this end, the ego is very important, but even with that, it can be dissolved for some time. Number 9. Synchronicity events. At some point in your life, you may notice that everything seems to be following a particular pattern. It's like everything you come in contact with are somehow related to each other. This is called synchronicity of events. And this comes as a result of the fact that you started experiencing ego disassociation. It's believed that the synchronicity of events are signals from the simulation, thus the ability for you to see the patterns and be able to understand them. Well, those are 9 signs your ego is starting to dissolve. I hope that you've enjoyed my explanation. Please don't hesitate to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon to be notified of subsequent videos. And thanks for watching.